This episode of Rick and Rick Rule the World is brought to you by Taskin, the first name in premium quality travel gear, with slim, stylish gear like the Taskin Edge professional laptop backpack for business and travel. Order now at taskinsf.com. Next up on an all-new Rick and Rick.
As the 2020s begin, we're counting down our favorites from the 2010s.
As we celebrate the best of the decade that was 2010 through 2019. So best for the last decade, yes.
Yeah, so I this is another one I kind of struggled with. You could take this from, like the Instapot, right? Which, has kind of like reinvigorated the whole pressure cooker, slow cook kind of thing. Although it isn't slow, it's fast. You can think about some of these like countertop drink makers. Like you can actually brew beer from the countertop. And so there's a lot of different types of products that are out there. But when I really was getting down and thinking about it, the one area where I feel like things have advanced a lot is in two areas. The first one is entertainment, and the second one is in transportation. And I went back and forth on these, and I had a really hard time trying to stack rank these. So as an example, there's electric scooters everywhere. Right. And it was kind of a novelty when they came out, but now it's like a growing mode of transportation within cities. You don't get a cab, you just grab a scooter. And so it definitely has, kind of revolutionized, ground transportation to some extent. But I kept going from there. And then I hit streaming, right? You have all these streaming devices that are out there, whether it's built into the TV or if it's, a Roku or an Amazon Fire TV stick or whatever. But I think my runner-up, I think the one that really made the biggest difference and made all those other things happen as far as the entertainment side was absolutely Netflix. And as a product, as a service, Netflix, the streaming, the ability to download shows, what have you, the mass amount of new content they developed absolutely pivoted and made it possible for the idea of cutting the cord and leaving your TV subscription, because there's enough content between that and some of the others, the live TV streaming services, that made that viable. So for me, that was my runner-up. I really toggled with VR and the Oculus Rift or Quest or what have you. All these had such a material impact to you and I, and it held our interest through the whole time. And this year we've seen them take off. I mentioned to you before I bought a Quest, and I went to buy a second one for a family member, and they were sold out everywhere. They were absolutely sold out. And so this is the year where it finally started getting traction, but that didn't do it for me. The one that did, and again, it's the same reason why Netflix, the reason this next one really made it for me is it is a product that kind of has changed an entire industry, and at least has changed the focus. And so I'm going to go with the Tesla Model S. And if you think about it, when we were talking about electric cars 10 years ago, it was like a hobby. It was like, people taking regular cars and putting electric motors and batteries in it. And Tesla came out with the Roadster. Then they came out with the Model S. And the Model S was the first real mainstream-ish product that was a full electric vehicle. And, from there, of course, they brought out the SUV and they brought out the Model 3. And now, if you look across all the big manufacturers of cars, every single one of them is now pushing for an all-electric car.
Right.
And, they're doing it at the high end, they're doing it at the low end with, things like the Chevy Bolt, the Nissan Leaf. And then at the very high end, all the manufacturers have, including supercars. Ferrari has announced that they're going to have one, and then Porsche's even announced an all-electric Taycan or something like that, Taycan, right. And it's kind of a mid-size. It's between a Model 3 and a Model S size car. 4 doors that will come up from them to be all electric. So I really feel that it's helped us kind of move things forward away from fossil fuels and things like that into an environment where things are more electric.
Those are excellent choices. My runner-up choice would have to be Burger King Satis Fries. No, I'm just kidding. Google Plus. Yeah, Netflix, I think, is an awesome runner-up, and I think that probably is the most influential new product of the last decade. I think that's a really good call. In terms of Tesla and electric vehicles, I didn't go there. I definitely feel like this next decade is going to be, where all the action goes. But yes, you're right. Tesla is the innovation machine for that, and the one, just as with Netflix, that's going to move an entire industry. So I think those are awesome calls. Mine's Jejun by comparison, because when I was thinking about best product, I was thinking, what is the thing that at the time I just loved? And when I go back to the early 2010s, I would say the Apple iPad for that. So it came out on April 3rd, 2010. And I want to say for the first 3 years of its existence, it was something that I used pretty much every day. And I do now even. Mostly I use it for reading. One big thing, just to be total nerd here, is I had been waiting for comic books to come into the digital age. And that was the device that really made that possible and really kind of reinvented comic books for me. And that's the way I enjoy comic books. I don't read news in any other way. I had a physical newspaper in 2010. My dog, who recently passed away at 13 years old, when she couldn't find my paper on my driveway, she'd go grab one of my neighbor's newspapers and bring it to me.
That's awesome.
But now I wouldn't think of reading news on any other device. And Netflix, that continues to be a pretty big platform for me to enjoy streaming media. So I'm going to say my top choice is Apple iPad. When it first came out and for several years, and even into today, has been a pretty big device for me. I didn't have a runner-up there.
Oh, really?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I was going to joke. I was going to say my runner-up is the book The On-Demand Brand by Rick Matheson, but I felt like that was self-serving.